The St. Louis Public School District Special Administrative Board, fearing competition from charter schools, has placed a deed restriction on the sale and use of all St. Louis public school properties sold, prohibiting the use of these buildings for use as schools for the next 100 years, in spite of the fact that these buildings were built using taxpayer money for the express purpose of public education. It is a fact that state-funded charter schools are public schools charged to operate under the identical mission as the St. Louis public schools and are held to the same standards.
This is Harrison, and it's probably a real good illustration of what will come of these schools if we continue to have these deed restrictions in place and not allow an opportunity for people to come in and create another situation where you have a school.
Missouri State Representative T.D. El-Amin of the 57th District in St. Louis has grave concerns regarding the unforeseen social impact these deed restrictions create, limiting educational opportunities while undermining neighborhood stability and our commitment to educate our children.
If I want to put another school in there to educate our children, they want us to do it. So, you know.
Crazy.
Oh.
We were hoping and praying that they was going to open back up and be a school, but now you're telling us this. If
See,
it does open up, it's not going to be a school.
And you say you care about me and you choking me. At the same time, I'm trying to love you.
Huh? It's not benefiting the neighborhood. You know, it's not benefiting no one.
You should be able to have the school open in the community for the kids.
It's needed to keep the community together.
Deed restrictions pose an unfortunate threat that affects not only a child's opportunity to attend accredited neighborhood schools, but also the safety of the children.
because there's gang activity and it's very territorial. And that's something that people didn't consider.
Kids have to walk past this every day. You know, they have to deal with it every day. They have influence from the drugs, from the gangs, from other kids.
Prohibiting the placement of any other school, like a charter school, in an abandoned school building also threatens to undermine and weaken our neighborhoods, which these schools could serve. A visit with T.D.'s father, Larry M. Bastain Sr. at T.D.'s childhood home illuminates the impact of the loss of his community's cornerstones with the closing of these schools. Couples School, just next door, anchored 4 generations of this family. Closed in 2006, Couples will not serve the 5th generation. Instead, it serves as a constant and painful reminder of what is lost to this community, both spiritually and economically.
When you close a school, you're cutting off the opportunity for that kid in that community.
This is really priority for education. Everything is based on, that's the base.
You want community stability, and you want these schools not to close. But if it's about educating the children, and if it's about keeping the schools open so you can have that stability, then it shouldn't be restricted that once that school does close, that you can't get another school in there.
Not only this empty school, look at all the rest of the empty right in the neighborhood. You know, not being used, boarded up. I mean, what does it do for the neighborhood?
So what's wrong with, you know, having a charter school and a private school to choose from?
And what we want to be able to do is give these children every opportunity. You know, hopefully move to lift that restriction where if a school closes, that you can sell it, open it up for sale to another educational entity.
You're not going to let this sit like this in my neighborhood. So whatever you got to do to open that up, this needs to be opened up.
I know somebody will come along and say, hey, we'll get this school and open it up and maybe a charter school or whatever, you know, make it useful.
I'm pro good school. Whether it's a public school, whether it's a charter school, whether it's a private school, the key thing is whatever situation that's going to educate our children, you know, I'm for, you know.
Currently, discussions regarding the closing of more St. Louis City schools are taking place. It is likely that the Special Administrative Board of the St. Louis Public Schools will again, in these tough economic times, choose to prohibit charter schools from purchasing these economically viable buildings that were built and paid for by the taxpayers for the express purpose of educating the neighborhood's children. Charter schools are ideal candidates to fill vacant school buildings, stabilizing families and neighborhoods in the city and expanding opportunities. Deed restrictions are simply not the right choice for the future of our children and the neighborhoods these schools serve. It is imperative that deed restrictions on the sale of St. Louis public school buildings are lifted.
It's common sense, you know. It makes common sense.
Learn more about how charter schools work at www.children'seducationalliance-mo.org or call State Coordinator Earl Sims at 314-454-6544.